Good evening, women, men and gender diverse persons. DIT 624B Advanced Manufacturing Processes. I will be presenting to you this evening the manufacturing process of cable and wires. Cables and wires are omnipresent in today's modern and connected world. In today's world, cables and wires are present everywhere, making our connected and electrified way of life possible. Wires are flexible strands of metal that are used to transmit data and power over short or extremely long distances. Around 250 years ago, people were curiously looking to improve everyday life, and this led to the invention of machines, steam engines and factory lines. The first set of electrical wires invented were uninsulated, and it soon became apparent that without some sort of insulating material, the ability to pass large currents would be problematic. Today, wires play a crucial role in modern life. From armoured wires to fibre optic cables, wiring technology is used in everything from quantum computing, microprocessing to telecommunications and beyond. The construction of cabling and wiring systems has dramatically improved with the use of new materials in the manufacturing processes, thus allowing higher bandwidths, faster transmissions and more efficient power distribution. What is the manufacturing process of cables and wires? We know that electrical wires and cables carry current from one element to another. They are the conductors through which electricity flows. These conductors are manufactured using copper and aluminum. Copper is considered a better option than aluminum because it has the quality to conduct electricity with high flexibility and very little resistance. Have you ever wondered how cables and wires are manufactured? There are several stages through which materials have to pass to produce cable and wires. All these steps are followed to determine the quality of the wire and match the industry standard. Crushing and grinding. The metals like copper and aluminum are crushed at the first step to manufacture wires. The process of crushing and grinding is done in large machines. With this process, the squandered material is removed and the metal is extracted. Drawing. Drawing wire is the next step in the manufacturing process. Material is drawn to produce different gauge wires. In this process, engineers use many days to reduce the copper size. They also use copper wire drawing lubricants to reduce the friction and wear between two objects in relative motion to one another. After the successful process of wire drawing, the wire becomes thin and malleable. Heating. Heat treatment is called annealing. In general, annealing is a procedure that allows metals to cool slowly and remove internal stresses and toughen the metal. When it comes to manufacturing wires and cables, the wires are softened by undergoing heat treatment. Tremendous pressure is applied to a metal rod to form a thinner wire. The goal of heating annealing is to avoid oxidation of the cable. Insulation. Cables contain many different wires that are wrapped together in an insulator. These cables are insulated with different synthetic materials. Insulation prevents current leakage. Some cables may require additional elements to improve protection. Engineers consider the quality of insulation materials based on capacity and heat resistance. They can use different insulation materials depending on the features of the cables required. Twisting and stranding. Please note that multiple wires often get stranded to produce enhanced flexibility and electrical performance in comparison to a single wire. Manufacturers use some kinds of operators to carry out this process with efficiency. Extrusion. Basically, extrusion is a method in which materials undergo a plastic deformation process by applying a force and letting material flow through a die or orifice. Cabling. The above steps help in preparing the basic components of the cable. Different wires are assembled and jacketed together in one cable. The cabling process is performed in a cabin station. This is a general manufacturing process. It can be different depending on manufacturing companies and the technologies used by them. I'll show you a video clip of how cables and wires are being designed and manufactured from raw materials up to usable cables and wires that depend on their applications.
To start, all our wire and cable products begin with a copper, aluminum, or fiber optic conductor. Each is used for a specific application. This conductor is used to transmit electrical energy or signals. Most of our products use a copper conductor. The copper is extracted from the earth in an extensive process that turns rocky copper ore into pure copper. The coarse copper ore is mined and put through various processes that refine and purify it. The copper is crushed to bring the mineral down to a workable size. Next, the copper goes through a smelting process, which uses heat and chemical reactions to extract the copper from the ore. Pure copper is formed into copper cathode and rods, which are sold to traders or to wire and cable companies. Some general cable plants have rod breakdown machines, where copper rod is reduced in size for the next step in the manufacturing process. Other general cable plants purchase copper in the gauge size they need to begin their wire-making process. Aluminum, which also serves as a primary conductor in many of our wire and cable products, goes through a similar process of extraction and refinement and is drawn down from aluminum rod to the required gauge size for production. Optical fiber, another type of conductor, is a transparent material which can be the size of a human hair. Made from silica or glass, it transmits data efficiently with virtually no electromagnetic interference. Some general cable communications plants purchase optical fiber to produce fiber optic cable for military and communications customers. So we start with a conductor, copper, aluminum, or fiber, drawn or stranded to the finished product's required diameter or gauge size. The conductor is then guided through an extruder where it is insulated with a compound or primary coat. Polyethylene, or PE, is one of the most common types of insulating compound. Other compounds are used for applications that require more flexibility or high performance. Plastic compound comes in a pellet form and is fed into an extruder. The extruder uses heat, shear, and compression to transform the compound into a flowing, malleable state to cover the conductor. While the insulated conductors may be identical in construction, different color coatings and banding can be used for identification purposes. Rubber compounding lines are capable of producing various types of rubber in many different colors. The process starts with various raw materials loaded into bins based on the compound recipe. The materials are then dropped into a large mixer. After a specified time, the mixture proceeds through a strainer. The strainer is used to convey the compound mixture to a forming or die head, where it is cut into strips. The strips travel along a conveyor system that cools the rubber before dropping the strips down into metal storage baskets. The rubber compound strips are fed into the extruder, which uses heat and compression to convert the rubber into a semi-liquid state. The tooling in the extruder head guides the conductor while the semi-liquid rubber is formed around it. The rubber-coated conductor enters a long tube that contains high-pressure steam and water or nitrogen. Here it is cured in the continuous vulcanization or CV process. After insulation, the wire moves through a water cooling trough to maintain its shape and thickness. The equipment in the primary extrusion lines includes monitoring devices that examine both physical integrity and electrical characteristics. Our operator-led process control, or OLPC culture, empowers our associates to interrupt production at any time to take corrective actions. This ensures no quality issues escape to the next process. These methods are employed in every major step of our manufacturing to provide the highest quality product in today's market. A single insulated conductor can be an end product, commonly referred to as a hookup wire. But individual insulated wires of different colors can be paired, twisted, or cabled together with fillers, shields, braids, and binders. They can then be jacketed, armored, and jacketed again before special footage markings and print legends are added. The finished cable is then packaged in boxes, on spools, or on reels. Now, let's take a closer look at a few different types of cables being manufactured. For copper communications cable, used in high-speed, high-bandwidth communications networks, we begin with two insulated wires of different colors paired together according to a color code system. They are paired to prevent signal interference between the conductors, commonly referred to as crosstalk. The color coding is significant for cable installers because it allows them to identify pairs and units of wire. Some cables have a small number of pairs, such as data communications products, which typically have 4, but these individual pairs can also be stranded or bunched together to form a single cable core containing 4,200 pair. This core is united together by a cabler, which assembles the stranded cores into one to produce telecommunications cable. Often, more binders, fillers, and tapes are applied during this process to cushion and secure the cables. A core wrap of polyester provides firm support and mechanical protection to the cable core and dielectric between the core and metal shields. Some receive a coated aluminum tape that blocks outside interference. A protective shield provides additional strength and shielding. On some designs, petroleum-based filling compounds prevent water from penetrating the cable. Depending on their use, some cables will need further outer protection. Shielding is a process that encloses the wires or cable for electrical or mechanical functions and reduces electromagnetic interference that could distort the integrity of the signal being transmitted. Some cable designed for buried applications is shielded specifically to prevent damage from gophers and other burrowing rodents who enjoy chewing on cable. In the case of portable cord, which is used wherever temporary power is needed, like on construction sites, in manufacturing facilities, or at entertainment venues, the individual conductors are a smaller gauge, which means bigger in physical size. The insulated conductor is taken up on metal reels before moving to the cabling operation. The portable cord conductors are typically black, white, green, and red, but can be produced in other colors. The color depends on the conductor count of the finished product, the country of use, or a customer requirement. The cabling process consists of twisting various colors of insulated conductors together. Depending on product design, fillers can be pulled into the twisting operation to fill gaps created between conductors. Various types of tape and cotton can be wrapped around the multi-conductor cable at this process, again depending on product design. Cablers can take on different forms and sizes depending on the product. Planetary, rigid bay, bow, and buncher cablers contain complex yet consistent rotation patterns. These patterns spin together foot after foot of quality-controlled cable. General Cable's industrial and specialty cables are used in a wide variety of markets. Traditional and renewable electrical power generation, oil, gas, and petrochemical industries, mining, industrial automation, automotive, marine, and transit, military, and OEM. All these cables use many of the same manufacturing processes, but General Cable utilizes even more specialized techniques, such as continuous vulcanization, radiation, mold and moisture cure processing, and specialty shielding, braiding, and armoring. Braided shields are formed from a rotating mechanism that braids copper, aluminum, or bronze around the outside of the cable. Metal tapes, foil shields, and copper drain wires are a few of the other shields that can be used. Other cables may require heavy-duty armor, which provides the cable core with even more protection from extreme environments. CCW, or continuous corrugated welded cables, are specially designed and manufactured to operate in extremely hazardous locations. This product employs an aluminum metal tape which is formed, welded, and corrugated around the cable core for extra strength, making the cable impervious to gas, liquids, and vapors before the outer jacket is applied. General Cable also manufactures a complete line of energy cables, including low, medium, high, and extra high voltage power distribution and power transmission products for overhead, underground, or subsea applications. While much larger in scale, most of these cables proceed through a similar manufacturing process, with the exception of bare overhead aluminum conductors. These high and extra high voltage transmission cables are produced by drawing aluminum rod to the proper size or gauge and then stranding the conductor to the exacting specification of the overhead conductor's design. Jacketing is the final stage of production for most cables. This process provides outer protective elements to the finished cable core and may consist of plastic, rubber, or other compounds.